Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hello, my friends. As you see, I'm still sitting in the same spot. We are still in quarantine for another, with today, for another 3 days. It was a very peaceful way of reaching here. Everything has its advantages and disadvantages. The question is just what we make out of the situations where we are in. Wherever you are always connected. Whether we are aware of it or not, we are always connected. Doesn't matter east or west, north or south. We just have to be careful not to be too much absorbed in the external circumstances and bring the attention, the awareness back home, here now, and become aware that connection is never absent, no matter what is happening. We can't remind ourselves too much, especially in a time like this, where everything goes upside down. It's so essential, it's so important that we keep on bringing the attention back, diving in that well of beauty, in that well of strength, in that well of joyousness. And that brings me to a question Mari has asked me in writing about intention, about the awareness of the purpose, about sincerity. What can we do about it? She wonders, how is it possible? Then there are those moments where everything is clear. There are those moments when it becomes silent and you are not absorbed in the personal history. And then suddenly, whoop, back. We are back in that identification with the me, with the person, with the story, with the senses. How is it possible? Why are we choosing between the peace of simply being than being absorbed in all the mental worries that come along with being in the story? The answer basically is very simple. The habit is so strong. Somehow we have gotten used to feel alive when we are absorbed in our stories, when we go on and on and on, thinking about something, wiping up emotions, even when we simply think about things. What has happened, what could happen. And in that way, we feel alive and have forgotten that really intensely alive is simply to be. There is a far greater intensity in that, but the habit is so strong, that attachment is so strong that even in spite of having moments where all this is receding, then out of habit, boom, we are back. Now, can we do something to increase the intention? Can we do something to increase the sincerity? Of course, we cannot pretend sincerity. Of course, we cannot artificially create sincerity. But if we have a clear, honest look at ourselves, we just become more and more and more aware that the usual way of functioning is not bringing peace. The usual way of functioning is not bringing really satisfaction. Even if at the moment it appears to be so, it's very short-lived, goes away again. And the deeper that awareness goes, the more natural that sincerity comes, that we want really to connect with that which makes the experience possible. That we really want to connect with that is never absent. That is a well of joyousness, of a sense of fulfillment that is simply there and is not over after a moment. Having been brought up, having forgotten our divine nature, having been indoctrinated to function in a certain way and then started to do like everybody else does, it created such a momentum, such a habit, that in spite of basically knowing better, the attention is sucked into it again and again. And there is no other way of just consciously starting to do the opposite. Whenever we become aware, whenever we remember. As long as one doesn't remember, nothing can be done. But when that memory comes at that moment, simply connect and relax in it. The more we are doing, the greater the sincerity becomes. It's like we are neutralizing the old habit that pulls us away from it with building up the habit of consciously connecting. And that new habit is being strengthened by sincerely going about it every time we remember. Eventually, that new habit will neutralize the old habit, and then we don't need to have a habit anymore. It just becomes natural to be aware, even when it's very stormy on the surface. There is that center that is like a rock, unmoved, that is like Arunachala. Around Arunachala, it's getting noisier and noisier. More and more people are there, and yet Arunachala sits there. And the same thing is with us. There is that aspect, unconcerned, unattached. At the same time, totally aware of what's going on, but in in the awareness of all the actions, of all that is happening, there is also the awareness of that aspect that is not affected by it. I mean, to the question, can we increase that sincerity, the intention? We can consciously decide and decide again and tell to ourselves, I really want to. But what then really matters in the day-to-day life, that we consequently go about it whenever the memory comes, that we are not postponing, first I have to do this, first I have to do that, then I can start to connect again. No, whenever that memory comes, at that moment you connect and relax. That's the way to increase the sincerity, by consequently doing just that. It's not some kind of magic performance we have to do. It's not some kind of strange trick we have to learn. And the more we are doing that, the more we become aware how very, very different the day-to-day experience is if we keep that connection conscious. That all that seems to be so terrible, that seems to be so big, that is happening in our day-to-day life, suddenly is not more having the same place. It's not more so important, because deep down there is always the awareness, that which makes me happy, that which makes me fulfilled, cannot be affected by it, cannot be touched by it. So Mari, don't get disheartened when you find that this is happening all the time. You have those moments, you connect consciously. Everything seems to be easy and clear, and then back you are again in the thought mind, in the mind, turning things around. Be happy, be grateful for those moments, but just consequently go about it. When you remember, at least attempt to connect. How much you are successful each time, you cannot really choose. It will happen. But whether you are attempting or not, that you can influence. And that you can consciously tell yourself, I want to remember, I want to connect. And gradually it's getting easier and easier. But in the meantime, we just have to have patience. Patience with ourselves, patience with our shortcomings, and not get disheartened by it. Just continue to do it again and again and again until it simply becomes natural, effortless. That's the magic, the persistence. What makes it easier? If we can learn, if we can develop a sense of playfulness about it, that we are not so serious, that we don't reprimand ourselves all the time whenever it doesn't work, whenever we have spent a good long time not remembering. No need of scolding yourself. No need of feeling bad about it. Just the moment you remember, you connect and relax. Uh-oh, got me again. Got completely lost. So what? Right now, I'm coming back. In a playful mood, then it doesn't look like such a difficult, terrible thing to do. Okay, now I have been talking. Let's start the dialogue. Is there anyone who would like to come in? Please come.
Hello, Werner.
Oh, hello, Moksha.
Hi, man. It's incredible what you were talking about because I was meditating this morning and I wanted to ask you a question and you are just speaking about it all the time.
Oh, that's good.
It's really beautiful. It's really beautiful because often you said, okay, and then there comes some point that it stays with you, right?
Right.
And my experience is that very soon I lose it, very quick I lose it, but no problem, it's always coming back. And I was just this morning seeing why I'm losing it so quick. And is it not like this, Werner, that as long as we take things serious outside, that this is the pull that takes us out?
Yes. I mean, even when you are playful, it still will pull you out of habit.
Yes.
But
Yes.
then it's easier to deal with it. But what makes us pull away from that center again and again is because we have been indoctrinated and we believe it so deeply that what we perceive through our senses, that is real. And all else is imagination, is abstract, is maybe philosophically nice, but after all, this is the real world. And as long as that belief is so unchallenged, that this what we perceiving is reality, then it has its power. After all, we're just creating an image. Through 5 channels, we are getting information. Through the 5 senses, we are getting information. And then we have the habit that we are creating out of that the whole perception of the world, of the universe, as we are perceiving it. And think that is real. If our senses were a bit different, then that so-called reality would look very different. Or I think everybody knows those 3-dimensional pictures, computer generated, that if you focus your vision in a proper way, then first it's just a sheet with figures on it and patterns. And if you focus properly, then a 3-dimensional picture comes out. So this picture is always there, but somehow we have to focus properly that the information that comes through one eye and through the other eye, we can see that only if we have 2 eyes that see. The one-eyed people cannot see those. But then the information which is nearly identical but slightly different from one eye to the other is creating an image in the brain that we perceive as 3-dimensional picture. Now, is it real? Is it not real? We can see it. The other one, if we can focus properly, can also see it. And yet it's just a sheet of paper. So that reality of that 3-dimensional picture is something that is being created in the brain, because there is no 3-dimensional picture on that sheet. There are only patterns. And still, we can see it as reality if we focus properly. And somehow it's only one channel, the eyes, that create that three-dimensional picture. And we have 5 channels like this. We have the sight, the smell, the taste, the touch, and what we hear. And out of that, like with that three-dimensional picture, we are creating that reality, and we have gotten used to look at it as the reality. And as long as we are thinking consciously and unconsciously of it as the reality, it has the power to pull the attention out of that stillness again and again.
Yeah, I think this is the point. We think it is real.
Yes.
I know this also. Yeah, meditation is one, but now I come in the real world again.
Right, right.
And then we do exactly the same. It is crazy, right? But
right.
but this is yeah. This morning also I saw this is so deep rooted that it is real. This is the reality, and I have to deal with it. And I found out there is actually nothing has a meaning. We make a meaning out of it. Natural. If you say something to me, or how can I express? We all give things a meaning. They don't have any meaning at all.
Right.
And then
the meaning that we are giving is most of the time very different from one to another. I may say something to you and not mean bad, but the words may be in such a way that you think, oh, I'm insulting you.
Yes, yes, and this, I think then it is real.
Yes.
And give it a big meaning.
Yeah.
But if you see, even if you say you are a bad person, if this not in the system is touching something, it is only words,
yes.
right?
Yes.
Only a sound.
Yes.
But we give it a meaning. This sound has a meaning for me, and this same sound can have a totally different meaning to somebody else.
Yeah.
And we both think, no, I have the reality, and the other one thinks, no, I hear the reality. But
yeah.
we don't hear any reality at all. It is just sounds.
Yes.
And this is freedom, right?
Yeah, it's amazing. The magic, the Maya that is capable of fooling us all the time.
Amazing, but it is exactly what you said. If we think this is real, that I was seeing this is pulling me out because I still give it a reality.
It's like dreaming. When we dream, okay, this world, this waking dream is different from a night dream in the sense that there is really a matrix that so many with their consciousness can join in, and we help each other to construct this apparent reality. In the night dream, we may also join such a matrix, but most of our night dreams, they are just figments of our own mind, but still we are experiencing a world, and as long as we are dreaming and not aware that it's a dream, then it looks like reality. If you hit with a dream body, a dream wall, it still hurts.
Yes.
Right.
It also makes like, yes.
But then it's possible that it can happen that in the dream suddenly you become aware, oh, it's just a dream, but still the dream continues, and then the perception of the dream becomes very different. Then even when it is frightening, like the scene is a frightening scene, it cannot more frighten you because you are aware. It's a dream. It cannot really touch you. Then it's becoming a lucid dream. And somehow with this waking dream, with this day-to-day dream, we have to become lucid in it, become aware that it's not really reality. Like the dream in the night, it's not really reality, like even if just before we perceived it, dreaming as a reality, like we perceive the day, waking reality. As a dreamer, we perceive the dream reality as reality. But it's possible to become aware, oh, it's just a dream, and quite similar. we can become in this waking world aware. Hey, it's a dream-like reality. It's not as real as it appears.
Osho had said that he said, if you dream, you know at least if you wake up, it was a dream. But he said,
Yes.
if the wake up call state, what you call if you wake up, he said you go even deeper asleep because you really think it's true.
Yes.
I like it very much.
But we can become aware. Like in this dreaming state, we can become aware in the waking state. After all, it's not as real as it appears.
Thank you, Werner. It was really amazing that you started. I thought, huh? I just wanted to speak with you about it and to ask you. And yeah, beautiful. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. You have to thank Mari that she asked like this.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, shall we leave it at that?
Yes, thank you, Werner. Have a good time.
Hari Om, Hari
Mario,
Om,
Mario.
Hari Om. Is there anybody else who would like to come? Please come. How many are here?
Hi,
Hello,
Werner, it's
Woody.
Udi.
Hello, Woody.
Yeah, I'm sorry that I would like to continue with this talk because I have a hard time about this issue of identification.
Yeah.
Probably, at least for myself, I understand that the process of identification is bringing up stories from the dictionary of stories that I have, the library of stories that I already create.
Yeah.
But what would prevent the here and now awareness to become another story that I can meet a thing next time with a very open mind, with a very like a clear paper, and experience it as it come in a different time.
Of course, this Werner guy is just another figure in one of your stories. the difference is because when somebody talks to you and is aware that it's just a story, then it may easier trigger in you that awareness. Oh, don't take the appearance of it so serious. Then it's connecting like this is a reminder in itself, not to get lost in the story, but to try to be aware of the essence of that which makes the story possible. Now, you said, how can I then approach this situation in such a way? By not too much fixing on hoping that you can somehow squeeze something out from that situation, but be as quiet, as calm, as connected as you can. It's not that you have to become a tabula rasa and somehow wipe out all your stories and then you don't remember anything. You can very well be a reasonable functioning person on this level, and that is only possible if you have the memory of the whole past. The memory is not the problem, it's simply that we don't simply treat it as memory, as information, but we are still emotionally attached to it. And with that emotional attachment, we are always bringing it to life and giving it a life that it doesn't deserve, instead of being just a beautiful storehouse of information that is very practical to draw from. We look at it as a reality that is alive, but that life we are giving it, and we don't need to do that. We can bring that life back to the now and be connected with that simple awareness of being, that sense of presence. And the more you approach a situation being connected with that sense of presence, the more that situation in a way reminds you of your life, reminds you of that divine beauty that is there. In a way, every situation can do that, but then if we are entering a satsang like this, that is specially designed to help us to remember. So it's not really that Werner guy there. It's just that concentration that comes in a room of satsang that may make it easier to just connect, be aware of that sense of presence and let go. Relax it. Let go. Relax. Let go.
At least for me, I usually try to connect things to the power of water. I usually think about the wave that's coming in the ocean. That as long that you see it exists, but I don't care what happened when it's flow away far from my sight. And I want to be able to have this ability to approach things as I approach this wave in my mind, to let it come as it comes and don't be worried about where it's going to.
Yes.
And be happy with that.
Right.
Okay, thank you so much.
You're welcome. Yes, what Udi just said is a very nice picture. It's like waves on the surface of the sea. Everything comes, everything goes. As long as we accept it, it's not a problem. It's simply when we create resistance. I don't want that wave, I don't want that wave. Or if we like the wave, I don't want that wave to go, I don't want that wave to go. Then it creates a problem. But if we, like we are bound to do when we look at the ocean and enjoy the waves, they come, they go. If we can treat the waves of events in our daily life in the same way, they don't create a problem. Then you are like sitting beside, not moving, and the waves move. They come, they go. The events come, they go. And there is something that is not moving, that is not affected by it. And then it's not a problem. It's a wonderful picture. Thank you, Udi. Okay. Is there anybody else who would like to come? Please come.
Hello, Werner. Namaskar.
Hello, Ben. Namaskar.
So for a couple of days now, I've been back at my parents' house in France.
Oh.
I'm here on a short visit. My sister is also back from a 10-month trip. So we're back as a family and spending time together, which is beautiful and really nice.
Good.
And since, you know, you're also kind of making a return in let's say a more natal environment. And I also find it interesting to be back here and to interact with my family and sister and to notice how it affects my behavior, because it definitely, I don't know, awakens some maybe old patterns, for example, or ways of reacting. I'm noticing that. And I was just curious if you would like to share a bit about that whole process, maybe how you've been also experiencing that, and how, if there's some insights on how to yeah, just keep that awareness despite of these old maybe ways being triggered. Yeah.
In bounds, in boundaries. How to keep it in boundaries, that it's
Yeah, I
not
guess,
overwhelming.
yeah, not overwhelming, and also yeah, I don't know, in some ways I feel that I'm also maybe losing something when I come back here, and maybe some of the old me, which is less aware, is being pulled up, and then I don't know, I feel there's more disconnection. It's more challenging. But at the same time, then the noticing is stronger, and then it's a stronger calling back. So it's just very interesting.
Yeah. Well, of course, if we have been living in a certain circumstance and then you are away and then you come back, it's bound that the memories come stronger and the patterns are being awakened, how one has been functioning. What can be done is to be double alert. It's very helpful and very important that then in that situation you still continue to have your time where you step out, where you sit in your corner, be by yourself, be as quiet as you can, connect with yourself, connect with the now, and then bring that attitude as good as you can in the interaction with the family, with the circumstances that are very familiar and that have the tendency to trigger things. We are habitual creatures. And if we have been doing things in a certain way, the easiest thing is to repeat it in the same way. And if we come in circumstances where we are very familiar with and where we have been acting in a certain way, then the easiest is to start to act again in the same way. Yeah. And if you basically, with certain things, you may let it go and think, okay, it's fine, I can play that role again. And then with certain things, you may think, no, I don't want to act like this again. And if the more you are capable of keeping that awareness of that you that is not affected by it, then the more you can also give the little impulses that the old habit will not push you going left and right if you don't want to go left and right. Reacting to certain confrontations with people in ways that you think, no, I don't want to react like this anymore.
Yeah, I find it interesting. It's almost as if, you know, kind of the need or the desire for connection with a relative. Somehow, you know, the old ways or memory or way of communicating feels like going back to that is a way to connect again with this person. So, but it's not a fresh and new, you know, present way to connect, but somehow it's an easier way, but it's not as real. So it's interesting.
Right, it pulls you out of the present. Then it in a way pulls you more in the past and the role that we have been playing, the memory. The more you are really now, the more it's really new and fresh, and you can connect with that other person even much deeper than you used to connect before, or then you connect when you are slipping in the old role and not really being yourself now. But out of habit, it feels like it's the easiest way to do it, but you're connecting. If you connect with yourself in the now, in that timelessness of the present, then you are also connecting much more with the being of that other person. And actually, it's much more fruitful, because then you're open to that divinity in the other person. As long as we are in the memory, then we have all our ideas. This person, my sister is like this and like that and like this and like that, and if I say this, she reacts like that. But if you connect with yourself, you connect also with her being, and there actually happens a much more profound and much more living connection than being attached to the past way of interacting. For the mind, it looks easier. It's always to go into the habitual thing is like letting you roll downhill. It's whereas to find new ways, it looks like it's going uphill. It needs a little bit of effort, but it's simply because the habit pulls us down in that. The more we neutralize that habit, the less it looks like uphill work. But as long as the habit is strong, it's worth the trouble to take it in account. Okay, it's a bit an effort not to slip into the old patterns. It's an effort to remind yourself to continuously connect. And then actually, the more you connect with yourself, you connect also with the other members of your family in a real way, in a profound way.
And yeah, and hearing this and being aware of that, you know, mechanism somehow. I don't know. I feel I almost have a playfulness now about it, thinking like, oh, it's a bit like a game, you know, and not seeing as an effort, but okay, I can be like that, and I can try to be, you know, just simply more centered in the interaction and see how it goes. And
right. That playful way is the best way. It makes it much more joyous and easier than when we think, oh, I have here a terrible duty to perform, to be myself.
You're right.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, it's good to have a bit of, I think that's the initial, I remember in my first years of discovering spirituality and meditation, you know, tend to have this approach of, I need to stick to my true self, and there's a bit of seriousness, but it's nice now after the years of taking this more lightly and playfully, for sure.
Right. We can be totally sincere and very humorous about it.
Right.
Right. It's not that it's a grave duty that we have to perform. We can very well go about everything with a good dose of humor.
Nice.
And the more you are open to that, the more you see also a humorous aspect in all the situations.
For sure.
Yeah. There's always something fun about it. The very fact seeing how people take themselves so seriously is hilarious.
Yeah.
And you are being capable of being light about it and not so serious helps also them to let a bit go of that.
Yeah, I think you can tell when people see yourself not being so serious about it. They're almost, it's like, wait, something, it triggers something, no? Of them being like, oh, what is this?
Could also be like that, huh? Then suddenly it could also be funny without taking it so serious, huh? Yes. You're helping yourself most, and you're helping them most.
Very nice. Thank you, Werner.
You're welcome.
Very nice talking with you.
Wish you a good time in your parents' home.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Take care. Hariom.
Hariom, Hariom. Is there anybody else who would like to come right away? You're welcome.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Nelly.
Yeah, in continue of this subject about resistance.
Yes.
I see so much resistance in myself, and I see that a lot of strong emotions come up in me, and resistance is one of them, and I see it so strong, and this unwillingness to do something that I don't want. Yes, I see how strong it is and how I hold it. And I understand that there is no reason to hold so tight, but I see how it works yes, it's really very strong.
Yes.
I just see it. It's not pleasant, of course.
Right. It may not be pleasant to see, but it's very good to see it. Because as long as we don't see it, it's very little chance to let go of it. But then seeing really the mechanism and seeing that against my present intention, still these emotions come and get hold and don't want to go, and not feeling too happy about it and not feeling too thrilled about it is the very mechanism how we are detaching from it.
Yeah.
It's not that now it's more there than before. It's simply now you are more aware that this thing is there. And the very awareness of it is the first step to detach from it. So it's good that you are aware of it.
Yeah, I see that I catch it with all my hands and feet. I don't want, no.
Yeah.
Yes, I have a hope that motivates me to meditate more. I have a hope that if I sit and watch my breath, that it will help me to detach just a little from all these things. Yes. So let's go.
Anyhow, don't worry that it comes so strong. It's a good thing that it comes so strong, that you see it so strong. And seeing it is already distancing from it. It's only when we are getting overwhelmed without being quite aware from the old mechanisms, by the emotions, then actually every time we strengthen the habit, as long as we are not aware. But when that awareness is there, even if it overtakes you, even if you got totally caught up for some time in it, then you become aware again. And you don't like that you have been gotten caught up in it. And that very awareness of the whole process, of the whole mechanisms, it makes all the difference. Then you don't strengthen, even if it gets you for a moment, you don't strengthen the habit. When that awareness comes back, got me again, but right now I'm stepping out of it, like that the habit that pulls us into repeating the same reactions again and again is weakening and weakening. And we cannot do something else but continue that process of weakening and weakening and weakening until it starts to snap by itself. That snapping that we cannot do. We can just make ourselves available that it can happen. And that's by not strengthening the whole old mechanisms that are making us more and more estranged from reality, but by weakening them. And that's happening a lot by being aware what's going on. And that's what you are describing now. That's good. Don't worry about it, even if it's not so pleasant.
Okay, Werner. Thank you very much for your support. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om. Is there anybody else wanting to come in straight away? You're welcome. That process, which we have been talking about, well, in a way from the beginning of the satsang, just now, what Nelly mentions, we can become aware, and it's not nice to become aware. If we have a real, honest look at ourselves and see what's going on in our mind, often it's not pleasant what we are seeing. As long as we have that identification with the idea, I am a person, then of course we like to see a beautiful image, a nice image of ourselves as a nice person. And if we really start to honestly look what's going on, most of the time it's not so nice what we are seeing. It's not so pleasant what we are seeing. But if that is happening, don't shrink back from looking clearly. It's good that we see what's really going on. It helps us also to detach from that me, I am a person idea. The very fact that we can observe it in itself gives us somewhere, even if it's not totally conscious on the surface, but somewhere it gives us the awareness. Okay, this is what I'm observing. These are the emotions, these are the reactions, but I'm observing, so there is something that is out of all this, something that is not really touched, that can observe. That observation is all the time going on, but most of the time our attention is so much in the happenings that we are not aware of that continuous observation that is simply there. But if we consciously bring the attention to observing, to have a good honest look, then that awareness becomes stronger. Oh, there is something that is always out of it, not touched by it. So often it happens with people who practice, then especially in times where we are going deeper, then we start to think, oh my God, it seems that I'm getting worse and worse. If I really look what's going on in my mind, oh my God, it's not that we are getting worse and worse, it's simply that we become aware what's really going on. And however unpleasant it is to look at, that is very healing, that is very good to see. So don't be afraid of seeing what's going on. Don't shrink back from observing when it's getting unpleasant. But there we can consciously remember, okay, I'm observing all this, so let me come back to that which is observing. Not create a new person that is observing. Just bring the attention back to that silent part in you that is makes that observation happening anyhow all the time. And the very not liking what we are seeing helps us in that. It makes us less tempted to go into it, to get completely sucked into the story and forget about it and dream the dream as reality. That very not liking can help us. Oh, let's, instead of struggling with what is happening, not struggling against what is happening, but just struggling to be capable of observing instead of being sucked in, then the not liking what we are seeing can give us a very much also an inspiration to go that much the deeper. Accepting, like Udi said, the waves not simply in the external perception, but those waves of emotions that come, let them come, see them and let them go. And then they are not a problem. And even if emotions come that we don't want, that we think, oh, I should be a good person, I shouldn't feel like this, unpleasant, then because of that resistance, the emotion becomes an unpleasant experience, then let that unpleasantness help you to turn the attention back home to yourself. Make it an inspiration to turn to that which makes the experience possible and relax in that. Okay, if anybody would like to come in, please come. "35 people here? Nobody wants to talk?
Yes.
Oh, hello, hello.
Hello, Werner.
Hello, Kirsten.
Tina, but
oh, yes, sorry.
yeah.
Tina.
Yeah. It's my
It's-
mind that seem to have a problem about having different gurus or people that I listen to, or I don't know. It seems to make a problem about this.
Mhm.
What do you think about this? Is it better to stick to one guru and to listen to that, and to, I don't know, it seems to be I don't know, my mind is making a lot of problems about this, so I don't really know if I should
yeah.
also in connection with one guru that I think perhaps she would like me to just stick to her.
Mhm.
I don't know, but I have a feeling about that.
Mhm.
So
Well, do you have really somebody whom you do consider as your guru?
I think mostly one person, yes, but it seems like, I don't know, then I cannot make up my mind or something. I see this as a pattern in me also, because I've never been able to make up my mind with anything. You know, I stick to something and then I do something else. So it's a habit of mine to do this.
And do you have faith in that one? That they
Yes,
really
I
want
do.
your best?
Yeah.
Right. Then listen mainly to them and hold on to the faith you have in them. And then if you have that faith, you can also listen to others. And then that faith you will get from others, some pointers, some help, but in connection with your connection with that teacher you really have faith in. And if you listen like that, then listening to others may simply strengthen your faith in your teacher, that you are really considering as your teacher, your guru.
Yeah.
It's not that you
It's also
have,
because
it's not that you have no right to listen to somebody else, but if there is a conflict of ideas, because everybody uses words a bit different and may present things differently, and if there seem to be contradictions there, then overlook them and stick to that which you get from that teacher you consider as your teacher.
But the thing is, my teacher, she doesn't speak a lot.
Yes.
She doesn't really give directions. So it's different, you know, when you with somebody who doesn't really talk about the how to do things.
Right, but simply connecting with her,
yeah,
gives you the certainty that you are in connection with that being that is present, in a way representing that divinity for you, that you are yourself. And if you connect there, then if you listen to the teaching of others, but you still keep that connection, and you will somehow filter out that from other teachers which is helpful for you.
Okay.
And then you pick out that which is helpful, and then and you let go that which make too much sense for you at the present moment.
Okay. It's because I feel like I'm a little bit guilty that I'm also, you know, listening to other people. I feel a little bit guilty about that. I don't know why, but
you don't have to be guilty. Just in your heart, know that you feel connected with the teacher.
Okay.
And then being also connected with other teachers is not creating a problem. If that in your heart you really feel connected, then it's actually enriching if you still connect with other teachers. And if out of habit the feeling of guilt comes, then let the feeling come. Don't struggle with it, but okay, there it comes again, and then let it come and feel guilty, consciously, fully for some time, and just and just watch what it is doing. And then you shift from what brought the guilt about simply to dealing with the emotion guilt, and see how it is manifesting in your body, in your present experience, and relax. And then it goes. And then if out of habit in the future again it comes back, the guilt, then already you are more familiar with it, and you say, I see you coming, and you just relax, and then it comes, it's there a moment, and it goes.
Okay.
It's when you hold on to it, the guilt, and it creates more and more doubt, then you are losing your energy, and then it becomes a problem that you're listening to different teachers.
Okay. Yeah.
But if you don't hold on to that guilt thing, then you learn to really filter out that which is useful for you, and with everything useful you get, you strengthen the connection with that you have with your teacher, that you really look at as your teacher. And the real connection with your teacher is not really the words, it's the heart-to-heart connection.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because she's not one, she's very quiet, you know. She doesn't talk a lot. So this is a different kind of teaching.
Right. But can you see that being? Can you meet her?
Yes. Yeah, I meet her.
And spend time with her?
Yeah, as much as I can.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So then you listen to the silence of her.
Yeah.
And maybe if you really have a question that you feel somebody else cannot give you a good pointer, maybe you still can ask the question She may answer or she may not answer.
Yeah, that's the thing. Also, she doesn't always answer my questions. So, but
Yeah.
yeah.
Then accept when there is
Yeah.
no answer that you don't really need an answer. That
No.
you have actually the answer already with you.
Yeah, it's often like that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Just don't make it in a problem, then it's not a problem.
Okay. Yeah. It's just been some time my mind has been making it a problem. So
Yeah.
so I need to just find
just,
out how to be with
right.
it. Yeah.
We just get the problem in such a situation when we are too much hooked at the words instead of what the words want to convey. And then one teacher says like this, one teacher says like this, and there is a contradiction in the words, and then there is maybe a contradiction with all those teachers and your teacher.
Yeah.
And then the mind starts to struggle. So focus on your teacher.
Yeah.
Heart to heart. And then you can be open. You can come to our satsang, you can listen to other teachers, and you filter out what you feel is resonating, what is useful. Then your faith in your own teacher will increase and not be troubled because of that.
Yeah. Because I feel I have to listen to other people. I feel I cannot just stick to one in that way. I need to listen also, like listen to you, listen to other teachers. This is how it has to be in a way.
Yes,
yeah.
Then just if you treat it wisely, it's not creating a problem, but it's enriching.
Okay. Thank you very much, Werner. Thank you.
You're welcome. Hari Om.
Thank you. Hari Om.
Is there anybody else who would like to come? Please come. To the same subject, in the Indian tradition, often it's being said you should stick to one guru and not go to any other one. In the beginning, when I was with Amma, then after some time she let me go to Tiruvannamalai. For 4 years, I spent quite a lot of time in Tiruvannamalai. Whenever she called me, I used to go back to Kerala. Whenever she let me go, I used to go to Tiruvannamalai. And I had a bit of doubt about that because I know of the traditional teaching, you shouldn't go to other teachers. And then I asked her also, what do you think? If there is this teacher or that teacher coming to Tiruvannamalai, it wasn't a supermarket like it had become in the last years of all the Western gurus coming with their following in the winter season, and there is 20 satsangs going on at the same time. But there were always special people living there, special beings, and sometimes visiting. And then I asked her, is it wrong? Can I see them? Or should I not see them? And she actually simply said that one sentence. If you have really faith in your own teacher, then even if you see other Mahatmas, even if you see other teachers, the faith in your own guru will simply increase. And then when it didn't create the problem in the mind to see other great beings, then it never was a problem. And actually I got often a good push, a good pointer at the time when I was physically away from her. Whether it had been absolutely necessary or not, I don't know, but it was not a problem and it was helpful. The problem why it's usually discouraged is because if you go to one teacher, teacher says something, and then you go to another teacher, teacher says something else, and then it may create confusion in the mind. Is it now right like this, or is it now right like that? But if there is that strong connection, and the connection with one's own teacher, that is really one's teacher, is much more than the words, that you connect with the being of that teacher because it reflects, that being reflects something that you should feel deep down is already here, that is reflecting my own being to myself. It smells like electric. I hope nothing is bursting. It smells like something. Electric is not so happy, but I don't see anything. Anyhow, what I was saying, if you connect with the heart of the teacher, if you connect with the teacher's being that is reflecting your own being, then it's no difficulty. If you meet other teachers, if you listen to other teachers, just filter out what is helpful. After all, your guru, your one teacher, is also basically a manifestation of something that is already there in you. And the teacher's job is to make you aware, look, it's already there. Look, it's not that I have something that you don't have and I have to give it to you. Teacher's job is to catch the attention of the student and bring it back to the student and say, hey, look, make the student aware, it's already there, everything is there. And so the tradition says, it's better that you stick to one, otherwise you get confused. But you can have your connection with your one teacher and at the same time get impulses from other teachers. Just pick that out from other teachers where you're really resonating. And when you don't resonate, then you think, okay, that is not for me, so what? Then you just let it pass. Okay. Is there anybody who would like to talk, would like to come in? Please come.
Ja, ich würde gerne.
Ja.
Werner, hörst du mich? Hörst du mich?
Ich höre dich.
Ah, super. Werner?
Sprichst du Englisch?
Ah, sorry, I was speaking German. I changed now. Sorry, I was not aware of your language because I'm here with my friend in Munich at this moment. Sorry.
Yeah, but English is okay because not everybody speaks English.
No problem.
Here.
Yeah, no problem. I stay with English now. Okay. Werner, there's something which is really pulling me out very strongly out of my complete awareness all the time, always again and again. I'm always trying to come back to meditation and yes, but it always pulls me out again because it is very frightening at the moment. What I get, the information that I get, what is going on is very frightening for me.
Yes.
And it makes me thinking about making plans to avoid the worst for myself. In the other hand, I feel like it is like ridiculous because it's such an ego thing. I'm just one of millions of human beings, like I don't know, insects on this earth and spoiling this earth. And, I know, but I feel I am human with this ego, and I feel very, very much threatened, and it's overwhelming me. I'm not able to watch these waves. If they come, I feel very, yeah.
Yes.
I think I just talked enough. You know what I mean.
Right. Yeah, it's if you really look and don't just listen to mainstream information, and have an idea what is going on now, then of course it can shake you up. And there is absolutely nothing egoistic if you think that you find ways how to deal with it, that you get the least amount hurt by it. Because if you don't hurt yourself, then you are not doing anything bad to anybody else. But at the same time, I can assure you, just on that level where the trouble is, there's also something else happening. There's something very negative, and of course it's always the negative that is making a lot of noise and that is visible, but simultaneously there is a very strong, powerful, beautiful energy getting stronger and stronger from day to day. And eventually what is going on now, it has to crumble down. It cannot continue exist. Unfortunately, it's still in full force and it will not completely crumble immediately and may create a lot of trouble until it goes. But there is no doubt about it. It cannot stay, because the beauty, the light, something very beautiful is really getting stronger and stronger, and it cannot be held back. It's getting stronger, and eventually what is now in control, that negativity, that dark energy that is now getting more and more and more control, trying, because they are aware that they have to let go eventually, so they're holding on with their fingernails and trying to make it worse and worse and worse, and for some time they may even succeed, but don't worry, it will crumble, it has to crumble. So hold on to that, open your heart to the light, and in the meantime, on a practical level, there is absolutely nothing egoistic that you find your way as good as you can, that you are getting the least amount hurt. You are not hurting anybody else by doing so. Don't think you should not do so, or out of solidarity do the same thing that everybody else is doing.
Yes, Werner, this is right. But on the same hand, I'm really talking a lot about this, and I'm really afraid also for people that I like, that are close to me, and I really always try to convince them, even if I don't really want it. But this is my intention with while talking to them, and this means stress for these people, because they have to live their daily life and they feel like I'm frightening them now, and this is very contradictory, really.
Right. It's such a tremendous hypnosis that is going on. People are sucked in that. And right, I can understand how you feel when you see people who like close ones going down an alley you feel is not helpful, it's not good at all, but you cannot go after them and try to convince them. If they are open, if they ask you, by all means, give them whatever you know is helpful, and otherwise wish them well and hope that they somehow get through it as good as they can until the whole thing collapses. But going after them, trying to convince them, that it's so strong, that hypnosis, that mass hypnosis that is there. You just run against the wall and you make them angry against you, and there is only more negativity.
Really, that's true.
Right. So you don't think you don't have to put in your mind it's your duty to convince them. If they are open to listen to you, fine. If they are not, then wish them well and let them go on their path. in the end, you know, this damn world is not as real as it appears. It's a magic show. Consciousness, consciousness dives into this magic show to get experience, to grow through experience, and everybody grows and becomes stronger. And if some people have to go through unpleasant experience, you cannot prevent them. If it is on their path that they have to go through certain things, you think it's totally unnecessary to go through that, maybe they have to go through that. In the long run, they will get that much the stronger and that much more out of it. It's,
do you allow?
yeah, yes, please.
Sorry, please. I come a little bit later.
Okay, it's this world in itself has not its own purpose. Its purpose is that it's a possibility that consciousness can manifest here and learn and grow and get richer. And sometimes that process of learning and growing and getting richer is painful as long as we are not willing to look in the right direction. But it's not lost. Nobody suffers in vain. Nobody suffers for nothing. Everything, every drop of pain, every drop of suffering, every effort that we are making is building up something very precious, and that same being that goes through it at some time, somewhere, will reap consciously the fruit of it and look back and think, great that I went through all this.
Very nice to say this now. Yes, it gives me a lot of hope. Thank you so much, Werner. Is can my friend
Sure,
ask you something?
you're welcome.
Yeah. Hello, my name is Gesa, and you talked about the good energy who is growing up in the last month or in the last time and getting stronger and stronger, you told in the beginning of Anya's question. I see a lot of people with a growing heart and a good heart and good vibrations and strong energy, but I miss that they open their mind to, and all these people, I include me, they are not fighting for, they are not talking about the situation that they don't like the vaccination and all this. Everybody is for himself, and sometimes they talk to each other, but there is not like in the 80s something like, I don't know, revolution is not the right word. I'm not good in English. I hope
I understand what you're talking about. You wonder whether it's not our duty to go on the road and fight for it.
I think it is good enough to be concentrated and staying in ourselves. This is enough.
It's totally enough. It's the best you can do. Some people are naturally more active, and it's their destiny that they should fight externally. But what matters, that more and more people connect with the light as strongly as you can. And by doing so, you are feeling better, and actually everybody who comes in connection with you is benefited by it, and you are helping the common, the totality. So it's what is happening now is really like a war of light and darkness. And your fight is not on the road and making big noise, but the more you connect with the light, the more you contributing and you are doing your duty. There's nothing egoistic about it.
Okay, so I thank you for these words, really, because sometimes I feel bad because I feel quiet in myself and I feel strong about the situation, and I never was afraid because I feel safe inside of me.
Yes.
But I thought I'm not a good person because I'm not fighting, and I don't say stop, please don't push the people to vaccinate and all these things. I thought I have to open my mouth and to fight, and then I feel no, I'm not this kind of person. But I thought it's not good to be quiet.
You say you are quiet in yourself, then for heaven's sake, don't disturb that quiet by thinking you should not.
Also um Gottes Willen, stör das nicht. Es ist gut, dass du in dir selbst verharrst.
The more you are sinking in that quietness, the more you are sinking, getting rooted in that self-confidence, the more you radiating something. And that's all that you need to do.
Okay, du strahlst etwas aus.
Okay.
Don't disturb it by thinking you should do something else.
Okay, I'm so happy that you told this, because this was the question in my heart. If I have to be
Right. More and more people all over the world are waking up and opening to the light, and that very opening and connecting with that is all that needs to be done. And some people need to be active and be on public and make a lot of noise, then that's fine. But if that is not coming all by itself naturally for you, you need not think, oh, I'm missing, I'm doing not what I should do. Do your duty by being yourself happily, peacefully. Then you become like a beacon, like a lighthouse in the darkness, and you radiate that light. That's all you need to do. Eh?
Okay, I thank you so much. Yes.
All right.
Dankeschön.
Dankeschön.
Thank you so much, Werner.
You're welcome.
You are my light in the moment. But it's Werner figure, yes. It is. You're shining this light for me also. Very nice. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Hari Om. Hari Om.
Hari Om. Hari Om.
Oh, I didn't know how much time has passed. If somebody has still a question or something they want to say urgently right now, you are welcome. Seem not to be the case, so let's stop the official part of this satsang.
Werner.
There you are. Hello.
Namaste. And that's what I observing, more lights coming in the soul.
Yes.
For many people around the world.
Yes.
And the energy going very intensive. And they connect from all over the globe together. Yes. And I experience the light and the strength going stronger and stronger. And the conscious manifest in this way that the whole world on every part will be light, glowing more and more. And actually in the light, the darkness going to be weaker and weaker. That's what I believe and I experience.
Right. That's the truth. Still, there will be some negative manifestations that go on, and it's not quite over. But it has to crumble. It cannot but give way eventually.
It is not over, but this peace inside is here.
Yes.
And I think we spread around.
Yes.
And this acceptation, what have to be done, in this time, in this now, is not other way, and everything is right how it is.
Right. Good. Continue like this.
Om Namah Shivaya.
Om Namah Shivaya. So I'll stop now the recording. Hari Om. Hari Om. Hari Om.